Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something that's making waves across Kenya, the brand new grade 10 placement system under the competency-based curriculum. If you're a parent, a grade 9 learner, a teacher, or just curious about how education is evolving in Kenya, chances are one word has been causing sleepless nights: placement. Fortunately, this video breaks down everything you need to know about senior school placement, pathways, and what makes this system completely different. For the Pioneer CBC class, this is not just another transition. It is history in the making. For the first time, learners are not simply being sent to secondary school based on exam scores and school categories. Instead, they are being guided into pathways that shape who they become over the next 3 years, and possibly for life. So what exactly has changed? How were learners placed? And what should parents and students understand moving forward? Let's break it down clearly. After a few weeks of anticipation, and yes, a lot of anxiety, the Ministry of Education has finally released the first-ever placement results for senior school under CBC. We're talking about 1.13 million candidates who sat the Kenya Junior School Education Assessment, also known as KJSEA. This is huge because it's the very first time we're doing this. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba made it clear that they couldn't just dive in blindly. They piloted the entire process to make sure it was effective and fair for everyone involved. Grade 10 students can now access placement details through SMS or by visiting the ministry's portal at placementeducation.go.ke. This is where they will find out where they will be spending the next 3 years of their senior school journey. What's different this time? Here's where things get interesting. Remember the old system? Placement to secondary school was pretty straightforward. It was all about your KCP exam performance and the category of school you could get into. But now, it's a whole new ball game. Under CBC, placement considers multiple factors. Yes, your KJSEA performance matters, but there's something even more important: pathways. Your pathway choice, the cluster of schools offering those pathways, and even your personal interests all play a major role. In fact, some candidates qualify for all the pathways. So the ministry will look at other factors like their choices and interests to make the final placement decision. Understanding pathways, the heart of the system. Let's talk pathways. This is absolutely crucial to understand. At senior school, learners will take 7 subjects. 4 of these are core subjects that everyone must take: English, Kiswahili or Kenya Sign Language, Community Service Learning, and Physical Education. The other 3 subjects, those come from your chosen pathway and track. There are 3 main pathways you can choose from. First, STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This pathway is for learners who want to dive deep into the sciences, pursue careers in medicine, engineering, technology, or related fields. Second, social sciences, perfect for those interested in humanities, business, languages, and social studies. Think careers in law, journalism, economics, and education. And third, arts and sports science. This pathway is for creatively inclined and athletically gifted. We're talking about visual arts, performing arts, music, and sports science. Now here's what's fascinating about the numbers. According to the ministry, over 600,000 learners chose the STEM pathway. That's more than half. Meanwhile, 437,000 preferred social sciences, and 124,000 opted for arts and sports. How pathway qualification works. You're probably wondering, how do they decide which pathway you qualify for? Great question. The Kenya National Examinations Council use something called standard scores, or Z-scores, from subjects related to each pathway to assess your suitability. Here's the breakdown. To qualify for STEM, you need a minimum score of 20. For social sciences and sports and arts pathways, you need a minimum of 25. But let me break down exactly how each pathway is calculated, because understanding this is key. For the STEM pathway, KNEC looks at 4 specific subjects: mathematics, integrated science, pre-technical studies, and agriculture. They add up the points from these 4 subjects and then divide by a scaling factor to normalize the score. So, if a student is strong in math, science, pre-tech, and agriculture, they will get a high STEM rating. It makes sense, right? These are the subjects that directly relate to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics careers. For the arts and sports pathway, the calculation considers creative arts and sports, English, and Kiswahili. KNEC sums these points and scales them accordingly. What's interesting here is that language ability plays a big role. So, a learner who's strong in creative arts plus languages will score well in this pathway. This reflects how important communication is in the creative and sports industries. For social sciences, KNEC looks at social studies, CRE, which is Christian religious education, and either English or Kiswahili, whichever has the better score. They sum these three scores and scale them accordingly. Strong performance in social studies, religious education, and language gives you a high social sciences rating. Look at the bottom of KJSEA results slip. That's where you'll find the analysis that determines the student pathway eligibility. The beauty of this system is that it's based on your natural strengths. These formulas help determine student career direction and senior school placement by identifying where they naturally excel. But here's the reassuring part. Some learners qualify for multiple pathways, which means they have options. And even if for students who are not entirely satisfied with where they have been placed, the ministry has given 2 weeks to revise their choices. Cabinet Secretary Ogamba emphasized that a special team has been set up specifically to address any challenges arising from the placement process, the school selection process. Now, let's talk about how grade 9 learners selected schools. This part is really structured. Each grade 9 learner chose 12 schools for their chosen pathway. Here's the breakdown. Each student chose 4 schools in their first choice track and subject combination, 4 schools in their second choice subject combination, and 4 schools in their third choice subject combination. That's 12 schools total based on pathways. But there's more. Out of those 12 schools, 9 were boarding schools, 3 from their home county, and 6 from outside their home county. The remaining 3 in their home sub-county or sub-county of residence. This structure ensures that learners have options close to home and opportunities to experience education in different parts of the country. Priority placement. Who gets first pick? The ministry has established a priority system for placement, and it's important to understand how this works. But first, let me explain something crucial about school categories and how your total points determine which category of school you'll be placed in. Here's how the points system works for school placement. At this point, it is worth pointing out that the points here are the sum total for all the subjects per student. If a student scores 61 to 72 points, they will likely be placed in Category 1 schools. These are the national schools. If another student scores 41 to 60 points, they will likely be placed in Category 2 schools, the extra county schools. If another scores 21 to 40 points, they will likely be placed in Category 3 schools, county schools. And if a learner scores 1 to 20 points, they will likely be placed in Category 4 schools, sub-county schools. Let me give you an example to make this crystal clear. Say a child's KGSE results are 8, 6, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, and 7. When you add those up, that's 66 points total. This learner will likely be placed in a C1 or national school. Now, within each category, there's still a priority system based on performance per pathway. 4 STEM pathways. The top 6 learners per gender in each track per sub-county will be placed in boarding schools of their choice. For social sciences, it's the top 3 learners per gender in each track per sub-county. And for arts and sports science, the top 2 learners per gender in each track per sub-county get boarding school placement of their choice. Additionally, candidates with an achievement level averaging 7 and 8 per track will be placed in boarding schools of their choice. The ministry used the county revenue allocation formula to distribute learners fairly across senior schools. This approach ensures equitable access to quality education regardless of where you come from. Capacity. Is there enough space? This is probably on everyone's mind. With over 1 million learners being placed, do we have enough space? The answer is yes. There are 9,540 public senior schools with combined capacity of 2.2 million learners. That's almost double what we need for the 1.13 million KJSEA candidates. Here's something else to consider. A total of 929,262 students just exited high school after completing their KCSE examinations last month. Since senior schools will only have 3 grade levels instead of 4 for now, there are extra classrooms available. This additional space will help address overcrowding concerns. Cabinet Secretary Ogamba reassured everyone, saying, "We have more than enough capacity to accommodate the children." What about private schools? Private senior schools are also part of this transition. Some have even started their admissions process early. For example, Moi Educational Center in Nairobi conducted interviews for grade 10 even before the KJSEA results came out. Their principal, Stephen Weeksa, shared something really interesting. He said it's not just about grades, it's about the learner's interests. They're conducting psychometric tests and talking to students to guide them properly. Principal Weekson noted that many learners are very clear about what they want, regardless of their KJSEA performance. You might find a child who excelled in STEM subjects but wants to pursue social sciences in senior school. And that's okay. The admission and replacement process. Once placement results are out, you'll receive your admission letter online, using your learner's assessment number. But here's something extremely important that every parent and learner needs to know. If your child has been placed in a school you or they don't like, please do not download the admission letter yet. This is critical. If you download the letter, the system will automatically confirm and place your child in that school. Take your time to review the placement first. Discuss it with your family. Make sure you're comfortable with the decision before downloading that letter. Grade 10 learners are expected to report to senior school from January 12, 2026. Now, what if a student wants to change schools? There's a replacement process, but it comes with some important rules. Remember, a learner cannot change schools on their own. Any changes must be through the student's former junior school within the period stated by the ministry. This is the official process, and it's important to follow it correctly. If a student wishes to change schools, they must make their request to the head of the junior school at least 2 weeks before the official grade 10 reporting date. Schools with vacancies will declare them through their respective county directors of education. Priority for replacement will be given to learners who had earlier selected the schools they're requesting. The Ministry of Education will approve requests based on senior schools' documented capacity. Here's the catch. Replacement will be done once and is irreversible. So, make sure you're certain about your decision. Once your replacement request is approved, you'll access the joining instructions online. Schools will not issue printed letters for replacement cases. The technology behind it all. This entire process is powered by an automated placement system that's pretty sophisticated. The system considers 3 main inputs. First, teacher insights about a learner's potential, strengths, and weaknesses. Second, academic performance through grades and test scores that determine subject eligibility. And third, the student's interests based on career exploration results. All this data gets processed through modifiable controls, allowing for monitoring and database decisions. It's designed to be fair, transparent, and efficient. What this means for education in Kenya. This new placement system represents a fundamental shift in how we think about education in Kenya. We're moving away from a one-size-fits-all approach to something more personalized. It recognizes that learners have different strengths, different interests, and different dreams for their future. The Pathways system isn't just about academic performance. It's about giving young Kenyans the opportunity to explore what they're passionate about and develop skills that align with their career aspirations. Whether you're passionate about coding and chemistry, fascinated by history and economics, or gifted in music and athletics, there's a pathway designed for you. Final thoughts. Change can be scary, especially when it's the first time, but it's also exciting. The Ministry of Education, KNEC, and all the education officers involved have worked hard to make this transition as smooth as possible. There will be challenges. There always are with something new. But there's also tremendous opportunity. To all the grade 9 learners out there, this is your moment. You're the pioneers of this new system. Embrace your pathway. Trust the process. And remember that your education is about more than just grades. It's about discovering who you are and who you want to become. To parents and guardians, support your children through this transition. Listen to their interests, help them understand their options, and remember that success looks different for everyone. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Drop your questions and comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this new placement system. And if you're going through this process right now, I wish you all the best. Your future is bright. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.